for sure.
Do that. There we are. Here we are. This one thing says we're live. Now let's wait for the rest of the internet to catch up. Lewis, since you're in the future, you already knew we were live, but the rest
we were live 2 hours ago for me.
Yeah. The rest of us are still catching up to Atlantic time. I don't know. I don't even think I've ever heard of Atlantic time. That's how few people that I know that are in Atlantic time.
We're like the same time zone as like Argentina, which is like the big bulge on South America there.
Yeah, you're all the way on the edge. Yeah. All right, we are officially public.
Love it.
Everybody, go ahead and share.
Where'd you get your cartoon done for the logo? Just curious, because we're looking at getting cartoons done for the team on the website right now.
Good question. From a guy, for Jairus, who's my producer, I think he was the one that he knew a guy.
Okay, cool.
He made my logo and everything too. He did a good job.
Nice.
I like it. Nice. Joel is his name. I can connect you later. He's super good.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We got Lewis. Is it Vandervalk? Is it
Vandervalk? Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah,
freaking nailed it.
It means it's a Dutch name. It means of the falcon or of the hawk. So
bullshit. That's too cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Do you feel inspired to get into falconry then? Like you just walk around with a big bird on your arm?
No, I'm just looking out for things I can kill.
I like that. Yeah. Especially in marketing. That's a good way to put it. My last name, uninspired by this, just totally coincidental. I think it's Plata is Polish, but in Spanish it's slang for money and silver. So that's good for a bookkeeper.
Who's the man to keep track of your money?
Yeah, the guy whose last name. And
you should advertise that more often.
Probably should get into that. But at my depth of the knowledge on that is so small that I feel like that's as far as I can get. You've gotten all
Spanish speaking population is just going to call you out. It doesn't. It means something
out of that squeeze. All the juices out of the squeeze.
That 1 second reel is all you get out of this.
Well, and they misspelled it too. They have one T in theirs, whereas mine has two T's. But every time I'm drinking a good clear tequila, they always are 100%. It says Plata, which is silver. So I always say this is my personal branded tequila here. We misprinted the label, but we made so many of them that we just had to run.
I like how you called out an entire language because they didn't get it right after your last name.
I know. There's a whole bunch of those. There's a Plata River, but it's spelled 2 T's and an E, so they screwed that one up too. There's a whole bunch of misspellings of my last name all over the place, but I'll take what I can get,
I love it. Most times you're going to see Vandervalk, it's going to be 3 words. That's the common Dutch way to spell them. But then my grandfather, I think he just was no, that's too hard. We're just going to combine it into one word.
3 separate words with capitals at the front of it?
Yeah, so Vandervalk.
That which then the translation is more literal then.
Yes, exactly.
It is literally of the falcon.
Yeah. We just slapped it into one word here.
I like it. Yeah, it makes it feel more last namey. It feels more real
for us English speaking people.
Yeah, for us hosers over. We got Ryan McGowan in the house. What's going on, Ryan? Long time no talk. Good to hear from you. Barry says, "Man, I'm on time. We're out here washing some gas stations, then getting on an airplane." I'm gonna see Barry in a day here down at.
Are you going to Orlando?
I'm going to be in Orlando doing home service workshop. Which Lewis and I were supposed to do this episode last week, but he was feeling under the weather, which I totally get. 4 kids, you're just getting all the.
I've still got the radio voice, and I'm nursing my tea and honey here, so
there you go.
I think we'll get through just fine.
Yeah, we'll work it. It's just living the life of having a bunch of kids running around. But yeah, maybe we're in Orlando, so I don't have an episode this Wednesday, so this is perfect. Get one in. But we're doing our first what I'm calling the live. We already do this show live. But now on stage at Home Service Workshop, I have a radio version of this show where we have a panel. And it's just a 1 hour. I call it the morning sports radio show, except it's a business afternoon happy hour show. But same concept, just a bunch of yahoos with personalities sitting up there yapping. So we're doing our first live shows. It'd be pretty fun.
I was just chatting with Ryan yesterday about some SEO stuff. How's it going, Ryan?
There you go. I want to get into. We got Pete Bryant checking in. I think this is a maybe a tequila comment. Dobel
Brewski
Diamante. What is? I don't even know what that is, but it sounds fancy. Is it a brewski? Is that what it is? It's
usually the fancy words are.
It's a double something. Joe Devino checking in. Howdy, Joe. Joe, you out fishing right now? Oh, it is tequila. It's tequila.
It's tequila, yeah.
All right.
Cristalino tequila.
He's on
the
brand.
First one in the world.
That's some real stuff.
That's what Google tells me.
I wonder if it's a Plata or not. We'll have to see. I might own it and not even know it. Ryan,
you should figure out royalties here.
I do. I probably started capitalizing on that. Ryan said, I drink mad O'Doul's. I do like an O'Doul's Amber. That is the tasty one.
They've got a cool bottle. Yeah, go for it.
So, Lewis, you got 4 kiddos. How the heck, like being a business owner and doing the entrepreneurial thing, do you saw right before we hit the live button, my 8-year-old was just in here like brushing her teeth. Is like, what's up? What are we doing here? Does your family participate in your business endeavors? Do they get like all in the mix? Or is it
I just moved. So I'm in like a co-working space right now. And I just moved like a month ago. Because it was getting a little crazy. We're actually running out of room in the house. And so we needed some more place for them to play. We're stuck inside for the winter. And it's like we need some more place for them to play and a little bit more time for, space for me to focus. But it's awesome. I mean, my wife and I were talking about it last night. I don't know if we do it the same way. Like 2 months after our first was born, I started the business. Yeah. And it's just been pell-mell on both fronts for the last 6 years. Yeah.
Going hard at all of it. Are you guys done after 4? Or are you going to keep going?
We're done and dusted.
Pulling the plug.
Yeah. The plug has been pulled.
We had 2, and then we were like, man, do we want to have a 3rd? And eventually we were like, well, we've waited this long. We haven't decided not to. So I think we've officially decided that we will. And then we were like, well, after that one, we out. So
we're done. Yeah.
Still playing zone defense, but 4 is a lot of chaos, especially 4 under 5. That's crazy.
Complete chaos. It's a circus. I'm basically a circus master. Well, Alyssa does most of it, but when I'm there,
yeah, I'm aligned. I'm well aligned in that program. Yeah. Do they get along? Like, are they all buddies, or is there the natural like sibling?
I mean, for the most part, of course, there's like they're getting to the point where they're like, we're not going to play with Desmond today, and then they just like go around saying it over and over until he goes crying to one of us.
Yeah,
and they're like, that's cool. We're here. We can play with you. You're good. Yeah. And then they forget it and carry on with their life.
They do. It's so funny. Their attention spans are so short. Like my 2-year-old was just it was like 7:45 here. It's about bedtime. It's like he just wants to watch Moana 2. He just can't leave it. But you just
who wouldn't though?
You just distract him a little bit. I mean, I'm all about the Chihu. Don't get me wrong. I'm Moana 2. I'm right in there. But you're just like, oh hey, here's a different toy, and he's like, sweet, a toy, right? And then just on to the next thing.
Forgot all. Falls asleep halfway through the next thing.
That's exactly how it goes. Joe says no working on the house, or I think he said no, working on the house. If I'm gonna read it the way I think he intended to write it, wanted to be, but shit went the other way.
It's all over now.
Joe should be out fishing. Lewis, you out like I gotta imagine you got wildlife running all over the place up by you.
Mostly I just see kids everywhere, but I mean there's moose. There's moose. I live in the city here a bit, but you can go a stone's throw and you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. City is like 100,000 around here.
I was gonna say the word city is hilariously defined in different parts of the world.
I grew up in like a town of like 5,000. So this is the big stage here.
Metropolis. You're in the metropolis.
Yeah, but we got moose, we got bear. There's some cats around. I like to tell the story.
Mountain lions are just like feral barn cats.
Like little bobcats.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
We don't have mountain lions, but the little bobcats are lynx. You'll see them around. But we got moose. They're big. And you got to watch out for them because otherwise they'll just like destroy you and themselves as they walk across the road slowly in front of your car.
I had a buddy. I worked at Cargill, a big agriculture company back in the day, like headquartered out of Minneapolis, and he got an assignment in northern Canada. Was driving to work one day, smoked a moose, like a big bull moose, and the antler went through the windshield. And I don't know how he survived, but he had to have like full facial reconstruction surgery. But yeah, it's like that's just a white-tailed deer that'll kind of bounce off and do some damage to the vehicle, but it's not gonna usually put your life in danger. But unless you swerve and go off the rails. But like if you hit a moose,
you may as well hit a cow. Like imagine hitting a cow, but it's higher, so it like flops down on your windshield typically because its legs are so tall.
Yeah, you're just gonna wipe it out, and it's gonna end up in the cab with you.
In Newfoundland, I don't know if it's a requirement, but they have like these massive racks on the front of the trucks. They're basically just like cow catchers on the front of trains because they know they're gonna hit a moose.
Eventually,
it's just a foregone conclusion. So they may as well protect the front of the truck.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
they're just being proactive. Do you get out and chase any critters up there? Or are you not into the hunting and fishing thing?
I've done a bit of hunting. It wasn't really in our family. I enjoy it. I love being outdoors. Hiking is like one of my favorite things. Done a couple hikes across Newfoundland, like unsupported, no cell service, like 10-day hikes with some buddies of mine.
Those are sweet.
Amazing. I have chased a moose in my bare feet before through the woods.
Were you going to just try to ride it? Just going to jump on and take it for a spin?
I don't know what we were thinking, but we were like canoeing down a river, and then I was like, there's a moose. And we just like beached the canoe and just ran into the marsh and like chased it. And it's just like dancing over the logs, and we're like struggling and cutting our feet up. And it was good fun. I'm glad he didn't turn around and like investigate.
Yeah, could have went sideways on you. But also like they take a step and they cover about 8 yards, and you guys take a step and cover, maybe
we're done for. We're done for if they decide to come check us out.
Yeah. We had one. Yeah. So I'm gonna wrap all that in a bow for you. Not as like a one-up, but as hey, here's a good transition. I was just talking to my buddy, nicknamed Moose, like to the point he's so nicknamed Moose as far as I know. It was like 2 years of knowing this guy before I knew what his real name was.
That's amazing.
And every year, like he and I were just ice fishing together, but we were talking about we do a trip in the Boundary Waters every year. So there's like 1 million+ acres between Canada and Minnesota. That's all national forests. And so
just beautiful up there.
Non-motorized, right? And so we're canoeing, and then you're portaging and canoeing and portaging. And we were on this trip this one year, and we had walkie-talkies going, but no cell service. Like walkie-talkies are almost useless because up there they travel like 500 yards across the lake, and that's about it. They really don't serve the same purpose. Like it's crazy how bad the signal gets even on a good walkie-talkie. But we were paddling like through this channel to get to the next lake, and I hear over the walkie-talkies from their canoe, moose is pointing at a moose. Was the radio call, and they like one canoe went that way, and we were gonna go explore this way, trying to find a campsite, and it ended up being they kind of like stalled out. They were gonna go around in the channel, and maybe the channel's like 30-40 yards wide. They were gonna go around to the left, and it was a cow just standing out in the middle of this channel, and she kind of took a few steps towards them, and so they just backed their canoe up, like uh-oh. And they were hanging back, and the other two canoes caught up. And so we're all kind of sitting there, and she slowly went to the left side, and we like all slowly went around to the right, like not really sure exactly how to navigate in this scenario. As we she just watched us then. As we got past her, you could see two calves up on shore. And we were all like, you boys are so lucky you had the wherewithal to like back it up. You
knock it in between them.
You'd have been dead.
Yeah.
Like she would have just destroyed you and your canoe. You'd have been toast.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how big they are. Like you can't until you're like right next to one. You're just like, oh, like you're 8 feet tall.
They're so tall. Yeah. They're basically the giraffe.
Yeah. I mean, they're just humongous, and they're. I don't know that they're mean. I mean, they're not nice, but they're just so much bigger. They just don't care. Like they have no fear of you at all.
They don't really know. I mean, there's all the videos of them just like walking through a Tim's drive-through and just like walking through the streets. They're just like, all right, what's going on here? Yeah,
they're like, oh, these cars are half of my size. I'll just keep traversing this. Barry said he hit 3 freaking white-tailed deer this last year. Tennessee, Alabama, around his farm.
He's got a bingo card going
with 3 of his vehicles, just taking one out at a time. I think they're onto you, Barry. I think there's a conspiracy going on. They're out to get you, man.
They're just pushing their friends into the road.
Yeah. They're all in cahoots against you, dude. They're all in cahoots. Lewis, I want to get caught up on your story here. I know you've got some home service background. You got a bunch of marketing stuff going on. You got a podcast going on. Let's do a little like journey down memory lane here. Can you take us back to how you got started in home services in the first place? Where'd you cut your teeth? How'd you get into it?
For sure, yeah. So grew up on a farm, and
what kind of farm was it? Like a
it was like a mixture. was a mixture of a bunch of things. There was like some dairy, there was some pigs, there's some sheep. There was a big greenhouse. So like we sold, plants all over North America.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. So there's always construction projects going on. And so I did that, all through high school. Loved it. My dad was a red steel carpenter and concrete worker. And so just kind of followed him around on projects. Did it after high school for 4 years. And I was like, this is really fun. I get paid to go to the gym, and I would always razz my friends about it, because I'm like lifting heavy things and they're paying to go pick up and put down heavy things. And then kind of looked at it, and I was like, 4 years after high school, I want a family. I don't know if this is like the solution for me to, support a family long term. Hard on your body, really fun when you're young, but hard on your body long term. And I knew my brain
you see some dudes. You see some dudes in their like 40s and 50s that are just beat, like joints going out.
It's brutal. Yeah. Hard work. And there's no stretching or pregame before or after, you're done your day. You just go and collapse.
Yep.
But, so it did that. And then I was like, got to look at something. So nobody in my family had gone to university, but my cousin had. So nobody in my immediate family. My cousin had, and he was like, you like, fixing stuff and working on the farm. You like math, science, that sort of stuff. He's like, you should do mechanical engineering. And I was like, all right, cool. So I applied, got in, did the degree. And then worked at a mechanical engineering design role for 5 years, all through my degree. And then that brought us up to, through the course of that, I was working, getting a degree, getting married, having our first kid. So that brings us to 2019.
I look back, like I wasn't that busy when I was getting my degree, but I do look back at when I was in college and I was like, man, I think I made myself busier then. But I had the freedom to, like, it was all stuff that I chose. Do you think this might be like foreshadowing? I don't want to like front run you, but like the amount of stuff you had going on there when you had your first kiddo, was that the most like gas you've ever poured on the fire, by choice and not by choice to some degree? I mean, everything's a choice, but
kids were the ultimate, right? Like you don't get any sleep and you're way busier. We just look at each other all the time and we're like, we thought we were busy before. Like, that's hilarious.
It is funny.
It is just so funny that we thought we were busy. But yeah, 2019. So I graduated in May. Our son was born in June. And then I started the business in August, the marketing business. So basically what happened is I was looking at some ways to, add some supplementary income, looking for a new thing to entertain my mind. Looked at drop shipping, looked at a bunch of stuff, saw some ads for, all right, cool. Contractors need help. Here's how you can help them. And so I started building out websites that I owned. I would rank them. So for example, it'd be like snow removal, XYZ city. I would rank that site, leads would start coming in, and I'd forward them to a contractor. So I cut my teeth in SEO there, and then really started liking working directly with companies, which is what we do now. So we're working actually on their assets. It's certainly a lot easier now to do that, to stick with that than try and game the system essentially with your own assets. And that's kind of how the journey happened, and that's what how I got into marketing and SEO and all that.
Awesome. I see on your Facebook page you're a co-founder of Integrity Junk Removal. How did you get into junk removal, or why'd you pick junk removal? Was it just like a low-hanging fruit to get after, or what prompted that?
Yeah, funny story. So a friend of mine from university, he had gone on to an engineering role. He had seen me doing what I was doing with the marketing. He was like, that looks cool. Kind of tickles his interest. So he reached out to me, and he basically like quit his job like 2 months later to come work for me. And this was like 2020. So like less than a year after I started the business. Well, it was a bit after a year. I was full-time now, but I didn't have a ton of income coming in. So he was kind of like interning with me, but he had no job. Yeah. And then after
a bit happened and nobody knew what was happening in the world.
Yeah. And he had a family and everything. And so he had to be making some money.
Yeah.
So it kind of just happened. 2021, January, a junk removal company reached out to me here locally and said, what do you got? I want to do some SEO. I want to get some more leads. So I quoted him something really low compared to what we do now. And he's like, that's outrageous. And I was like, interesting. And then I looked at the market and I was like, Ryan, we could probably dominate this. Like there's a little bit of like chip on my shoulder now.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, that could work.
This guy won't pay $100 for a website. I think we'll be okay to play here. I think we can do a few jobs.
And I think there was like 3 companies at the time. There's like 10 now here locally. But we just dove in. He was very mechanically minded, very physically fit. I stayed with the agency, but did all the marketing and the website building and everything for it.
Yeah.
And we got it to like 30K in the first year, 30K per month.
Oh,
So
sweet.
it kind of became a thing. And then about a year and a half later, I looked at him, he looked at me. He wasn't really helping me in the agency anymore. I, had the family that was continuing to grow. And we just said, all right, we got to pick one thing and both go that direction. So he took the junk removal company, still's got it. And I've obviously got the agency still too.
That's a sweet way to start, though. Like to help each other out and get each other's thing going, and then take off running with it.
It was fun. I mean, I was in the groups all the time asking questions about junk removal. And then as we started doing stuff that worked specific to that industry, I hadn't really been exposed to that industry before. And so, as I started learning stuff, I started giving back to the groups. And then, people found out we did marketing. So it became a really shoe in there. And we just took off. So junk removal is still our biggest niche that we serve.
Yeah. Just build the expertise and you get a little more useful in that regard.
Yeah.
What did you always have I feel like marketing is a bit of engineering. It's just digital engineering, but did you always have like a knack for that, or was it something that just kind of came out of the blue for you that you had never really thought of or experienced before that?
Well, when I started in 2019, I'd never done anything online, like as far as like setting up a website or anything. I'd done social media. So I played around with that. I think my first marketing thing was I bought those RFID protectors for Visa cards.
Yeah.
And I bought like 500 of them for like $0.01 each, and then sold them for like $3 a piece to people in my church.
Booyah.
And I was like, this is incredible. Like the ROI on this is insane. And then in 2018, while I was in university, I started doing blacksmithing. Just like some small hobby blacksmithing, doing keychains, stuff like that. And so I used Instagram to basically sell my products on Etsy.
Oh, sweet.
So I grew the channel, or my Instagram page, to, I think it was like 2,000 followers over like 6 months.
Yeah.
And just basically showed what I was doing, building my forge, learning the process, doing, projects around the house. We were renovating Alyssa's mom's house at the time. So I just shared that, and I was like, this is really fun. Like, this marketing thing is really fun. And then when marketing, kind of became the avenue in 2019, like I said, I hadn't really done that type of marketing, but I was like, if I can do engineering, I can figure anything out.
Yeah. It's just problem solving, just digital problem solving.
Just different, right? I made a post about this recently. Like, my algebra teacher said, algebra is not hard. It's just different. And our brains like clam up when we see different. Bookkeeping's not hard for you, right? But for everybody else, it's like really different.
Yeah, it is hilarious. It's hilarious.
And so they're just like, no, don't, like, that's terrifying, right?
Yeah. What profit and loss? What the hell's a balance sheet? Oh my God, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm dying. My business is dying, or it's not.
When you said blacksmithing, I was like, oh, is this a new marketing term I haven't heard?
Yeah,
and I was like, oh no, he actually meant blacksmithing. Like, that's cool. But now here, I'm just going to plant this seed for you, which is now the next time you do something that's a little bit different, you're just going to call it blacksmithing. Yeah, right? Like all these terms are made up, so you can just make up your own one. You're going to like be like, oh, we do it this way. It's called blacksmithing. And everybody's going to be like, oh, that sounds cool. Yeah, so it's basically marketing. It's going to be like,
don't worry. Don't worry about black hat SEO anymore. It's come over to the blacksmith's forge.
Yeah, we're
knocked into shape.
Yeah, we're blacksmithing a website here.
Yeah,
it's not.
I like that. I might take that somewhere.
You got to go with it. You got to run with it. Yeah. Sounds hot. That was a pun. You get it?
It worked.
I don't know anything about blacksmithing, but I think every time I see it in a movie, there's a hot piece of metal.
It's lots of fire. Yeah. I never did the coal thing, but I built like a propane forge, and that was super fun. Really, really hot. You can make metal moldable. It's like a really weird.
How hot can you get with propane?
I forget the numbers off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up now. Propane.
Like, is there in blacksmithing? So we're going to just go down this tangent because I'm just a curious son of a gun. Is there like a known, like, oh, if you're going to blacksmith, you got to use this to get the most heat? Like, is there
definitely like super hot? 1300 Celsius is about where you want to be for forging, and propane can get up to like 1900. So you're like,
Jesus,
it can get really hot there. I did some casting as well. So like copper and aluminum. I was just like trying everything that I saw on the internet. It was fun. Copper.
You have some of those huge gloves that are like super.
I was like, I don't want to die. My dad was big into PPE, so I was like, I got the gloves, I got the face mask, I got arm like Kevlar things so that it wouldn't like splatter and like take my arms off and stuff.
Yeah. I did, like, especially the more kids you have, the more you're like, oh shit, I better be careful here. Like my wife is gonna be so pissed if I die. That's
right.
My wife is so pissed.
Got to check my life insurance here.
Barry chimed in and said blacksmithing, forging SEO to a new level.
That's the new tagline.
That's it.
Barry, I'll tag you under the tagline as the tagline creator.
Yeah. Barry forged this tagline. He blacksmithed up a tagline for me.
Yeah. I think everybody should take a blacksmithing class. I never actually did. There weren't a lot here locally. But it just feels so manly. Like to like take metal and beat it into shape.
Beat the shit out of the metal. My buddy Duke is an ice fishing buddy of mine. And the reason I was thinking and Duke will resonate with this because like some guys just had I've seen it on the news once. He and I were at Red Lake in northern Minnesota where like some propane tanks blew and like I mean
Dang.
3rd-degree burns. Like I mean, and I was like, man, how hot that was. I was like, how hot does propane get? Because like we heat all of our fish houses with propane, but you're around gas and fire, and shit can blow.
Well, the thing with I did a little bit of volunteer firefighting, and the thing with propane is it sinks too. So like I remember there was like one case study where there was like this propane factory, and it they got a leak or whatever, and then it like just all filtered down into the village in the valley, and then the village just blew up. It was like terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Because it's heavy. It's heavier than air.
Yeah. Joe Devino says, I blacksmith for bourbon, make my own cool shit. Kind of the same. Really warm regardless. Joe, I don't think it's the same. But I like where your head's at.
Close though.
So what as you got more and more into the marketing thing, you've mentioned SEO and website stuff. Where do you feel like your niches are, and are there like different service opportunities as you've grown Blue Crocus that you start like picking off different avenues where you see opportunity? How has that progressed for you?
It's been really interesting. So I would say our core competencies are websites and SEO for home service companies. So anything from remodeling to power washing to junk removal, dumpster rental, demolition, you kind of name it. We've probably built a site or two over time. I've actually tried to look at like different things that we could do, and I'm the best at SEO, and so I'm having a hard time until I can find someone on my team who really gets it and is really good at something else. I've actually started Google Ads as an offering twice, run them for about 9 months, and then I like pull all our clients off, and I'm like, sorry guys, like I just can't sleep knowing that we're taking your money and not giving you like the best results. So here's my friend, I'll pay for your setup fees, go over to them. It's been quite embarrassing, honestly, but can't knock me for trying, I guess.
No, and I think that's that's super admirable of you too. And I think it's tough because you're like, I have so many clients asking for it, right? Like I'm sure you get asked all the time. And so you're like,
it's probably the easiest service to sell because I think it's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yep. I see that all the time. And in our business, I resisted offering tax service for the longest time because like bookkeeping and taxes are two wildly different things that everybody thinks your bookkeeper should be your tax person, your tax person should be your bookkeeper. I'm like, they couldn't be more different. Yeah. Like the purpose of each one is so different. One's an information thing to help you run the business. One is to keep you on check with the IRS. They serve each other. Like they play in the same playground together, but they're doing completely different things. Yeah. And that's website SEO and Google Ads. Like, yeah, they're all meant to get you more leads. But the skill set and like how you're communicating it and where you're building it and the knowledge you need to have about how this thing works and that thing works, they complement the shit out of each other. But that doesn't mean they're the same thing. And so it is just like a goofy thing we always need to reckon with as business owners is like how long, and I don't know what the right answer is, but I've screwed this up running home service businesses too, where I've like chased the shiny object, especially things people were asking for. And I'm like, we need to do that. We need to do that. And then it just gets so distracting. Like not only can you not, there's runway, right? Like it takes a while to get elite at something. And if you're used to being elite at one thing, you don't want to do like the next thing at a A- level. Like you want to get it up there. And that takes a lot of time and failure and development. And so you're like, how much do I charge people while I'm learning? Like, what's the fair price for this? And do they want to pay for that? And is that what they expect when they're used to getting this level of service from me on the other thing that they're exposed to? It's just a weird conundrum that you find yourself in.
Really, really tough, actually.
Super tough.
Because you don't necessarily have good people to refer them to either.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest thing. And I think that's where like industry events are useful, like meeting other vendors that do the same thing as you do, because at least you can be like, oh, this is the guy. Like I talk to him, I trust him, I know he knows the stuff. When I've had we had a window cleaning and pressure washing business in Minneapolis, and my competitor became my business partner and now bought us out and is a bookkeeping client of mine. But like some of the best relationships I've had are with competitors of mine, because I'm like trying to find who, if I have too many leads, or if I have an employee, or whoever, or if they do and I need somebody, right? Like if we trust each other and we have a good sense of business, like then we can help grow the pie instead of trying to take slices from each other. And I've always found that to be like more valuable than anything. But damn, it's tricky to figure out like when to launch the next service. My rule that I don't abide by, because I'm a small business owner and Lord knows we suck at abiding by rules, but at $1 million of revenue, I'm like, now I think I can afford the help to go launch a new thing. I think
that's fairly reasonable. Yeah.
I totally broke that rule in this business. We're at like a $700,000 pace. And
I just noticed it looked like we're telling ghost stories here the way my lighting is. Ghost stories with Lewis and Dan.
That could be cool.
I'm not going to be able to fix it because I got to hold it up here like this with my hand. So we're just going to go with it. It's Ghost Stories with Dan.
I'm not too concerned about it. I didn't notice it, but now that you said
now we will. Yeah. Lesson for you guys. If you want to tell ghost stories, just like hold this like portable light here.
Yeah. Get it underneath you. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring up lighting, because now I used to like unplug my other monitors, but I was like, oh, like the white light from those other monitors,
it evens everything out.
Video. Like I have a lamp over here, but I made sure I had those monitors plugged in, and I consciously thought about it tonight because I was like, oh, I got to make sure those are plugged in and get like white backgrounds on those screens and get a nice glow going. Makes my complexion look a little better.
Yeah, but looks very silver.
Yeah, little plot action going on.
Yeah,
if you're into that sort of thing. What from the SEO standpoint, from the website standpoint, what is the business model like for you? Do you do a retainer style offering? Do you do a one-time hit? How do those function together in your business?
So websites are a one-time hit, or payment plans, if that makes sense. But typically, a lot of people are doing a one-time hit, and then it's just a small recurring for hosting. And then if you need pictures updated, or we're making sure everything still ticks over. SEO is a retainer, so we have it to where it's 6 months retainer, and then a month to month after that. The reason being, I saw people jump out in like month 3 or 4 or 5, and then they've spent, they've invested in the service, but then they're jumping out before it gets good.
Yeah,
so if I can sell them on
runway to make a move,
enough momentum to get going. Otherwise, you're just kind of tossing money down the drain. It's going to do something for a foundation, but you're not going to start to see movement that like brings your money back in the door. So SEO is really selling like an investment package, which is an interesting sell, because you don't want to it's kind of a laid back sales process. You're like, do you believe in it or not? Do you believe in that we can help you? All right, cool. Let's go. If you want leads now, sorry, go down the road.
Let me introduce you to my Google Ads guy. Exactly. When I decide that it's not me, but then maybe I'll change my mind.
And then he'll shoot you back over here, and we'll do SEO. But yeah, that's typically how we do it. Is retainer, and then we're doing a certain volume of work inside that retainer.
Do you are all of your SEO clients website clients of yours, or are you guys doing SEO on other websites? And how the hell do you navigate that if you pull up somebody else's website and you're like, yeah, boy, we got some work to do here. Like, I don't even know if it pays to do SEO on this website. How do you navigate those conversations?
So in that case, we'll just be frank with them and say, hey, it's just not going to work. Like, we have Wix and Squarespace. We'll work on a Duda website. And I actually just brought someone on that's on a Weebly website, which is actually where I started. I know they can rank. And he was like, I want to get going, and then maybe we can rebuild later. Bit of an odd one there, but typically we're bringing them on and not rebuilding if they're WordPress and they're built well. We'll actually take a look under the hood and say, all right, cool. Or we'll say, hey, here's the onboarding fee, is what we kind of call it, to get things buttoned down, so that you're not just spending money with us and it's not doing anything because it's not set up on the right foundation.
What percentage of websites do you look at and you're like, give me and maybe you guys already have this in your business model of, this is just me talking out loud, by the way, so you can be like, no, damn, it doesn't make any damn sense. But I imagine there's a threshold of let's just burn this one down and start a new one. There's a threshold of like, holy shit, we can make this work, but buckle up. Then there's like the, hey, she's all right. And then there's like, yeah, it's pretty good, just a little bit. And then there's probably, oh, yeah, we must have built this one because this thing is exactly perfect. Like, what percentage kind of falls in each of the oh shit level categories?
I would say the people coming to us for SEO have either invested in a site already, or they're like, I'm coming to invest in a site and I want you to start SEO after.
They know what they're up to. You don't get many people that come with a disaster and are like, no, just do some SEO for me.
Well, we certainly get those ones, and then we're kind of educate them. Like, typically we're not taking someone on below 20K per month for SEO. Okay. Reason being, if you haven't figured out how to start your own fire, we're just an amplifier. We're not. I just realized
they got to be doing 20K per month in revenue on their own accord.
Typically they've proven, that they can go out and sell. They've got some sort of systems in their business. They're not expecting the marketing agency to be a savior. And so what we're doing is we're just amplifying. They've probably got community connections that we can build off of for backlinking and stuff like that. They've probably got a team. It's not just them anymore. And so they can focus on doing some of the stuff that we need them to do. It's just something that over the years I was like, man, this is kind of like our threshold, where it's very rare we'll take someone on below 20K per month for SEO. We'll build a website and then help you out. Once you get to that state. Some clients, I'm like, all right, cool. I've worked with you on the website. You're gearing up to go, and I know you're going to put in the work. In which case, they've kind of passed that test. Yeah,
I already know you're good for it. I know you won't fumble it and then. It is funny to me, and I see this with business owners every once in a while. I saw it more when I was like serving residential clients, but every once in a while you'll run into a business owner that doesn't do the work and just like points a finger, and you're like, what? Like, you're a business owner. What are you doing? Like, do you know how this works?
Gotta do the work. Yeah.
I have one guy. No kidding. I had this interaction tonight, and it's so frustrating. Hired us for bookkeeping. And it's like, it's $400 a month for bookkeeping, which is a super fair rate. Like one of my competitors, their minimum's $400 a month for like the smallest of the small.
That's guy's very like competitive for bookkeeping. By the way.
Yeah, he's like a $500,000 company. That's $4,800 a year for bookkeeping. We had to do a year's worth of cleanup and a balance sheet disaster, and we're at like $2,200. And he's like, "Man, this is such a ripoff. This is so much more expensive." And I'm just like, "Man, if we did
this, hire someone to sit in there for a month and do it. They're going to be more than 2K."
Yeah, I was like, "What? Like, you're a business owner. You know how much it like." Let me just do. It's like, I don't know how to make this so effing simple that you can understand. But if it's $400 a month and we did a year's worth of bookkeeping, that should be $4,800. We just billed you $2,200. Like, what are you complaining about, man? Do you want me to send you the bill for the rest of it? Or do you want to just be happy that we were super efficient in your cleanup? Because I think that's what you should be, and not complaining that you're broke because you suck at running a business. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, clearly, the only thing I have left to do, and I think Sean Day, who runs Higher Lead Chill. So I own part of Higher Lead Chill. And cool. Sean and I always laugh because he will get people that they will hire people through our recruiting service, and then they will complain that they don't stay. And I'm like, I think we just need to send everybody a mirror so that when they're being a douchebag, you can be like, here, we have the perfect solution for you. And we're just going to send them a mirror. Because I don't know how you teach somebody that. I don't know how you teach somebody to get out of their own way.
I think it happens to everybody. It certainly happened to me. And, I was like, man, how come we can't hire people that are good, right? And then I saw, it was quite recent actually, I saw Dan Martell doing, I don't know if it was a skit or not, if it was an actual recorded coaching call, but it was a reel where he's talking to someone and they're like, man, I'm so pissed. One of my sales guys just lost a 100K deal. And Dan's like, okay, is it a people problem or a process problem? And he's like, well, it's sales. Like, it's obviously a people problem. He's like, he sent him the $1,000 invoice instead of a $100,000 invoice. And then they were like, if you can't get this right, then we're not doing business with you. And so they lost the sale. And Dan's like, yeah, it's sales. There's a small amount of art in it, but sales is a process. And if you don't have that process down, you're going to miss out on sales. And I was like, man, all right, I got to buckle up and improve our processes. And then the A players will just follow the process and they're going to crush it.
Well, and that's in like the best process is a good recruiting process. Yeah. Like if like you won't get the best people if you don't have a good process, because they either won't come or you'll get them, but they won't stay. And we used to see that in our maid service. Sean and I together would see that in our maid service businesses is we'd hire some good people, but we'd bring them into just chaos. We just
And then
didn't
they're
have,
like, this isn't what I'm looking for.
yeah, the A players don't want to be a part of that. They'd be gone so fast, and we'd be stuck with all the B and C players. It's like shit.
Yeah.
That was how Sean and I joke now. That was how we got really good at recruiting because our leadership sucked. We couldn't keep anybody. Like we used to run maid service businesses together, and we just couldn't. Like we were fragmented around all the U.S., and so we just never we never were willing to pay what it cost to like hire the right local manager. Sean was in Cleveland. I'm in Minneapolis. It was a disaster, but it made us really good at recruiting because we had to keep replacing people.
Just keep the pipeline full.
Yeah, we found good ways to recruit people. We just couldn't keep them. Rob Anderson says, spell it with crayons. It's just a big ass fistful of crayons.
I haven't seen Rob forever. Hey, Rob, you might
Rob.
not know me, but I feel like I saw you around on Facebook for a while, but the algorithm separated us.
He's back. Rob is my officially unofficial co-host for the show. He's watching tonight instead of joining, but sometimes he just jumps in the drink to hang out.
I'm trying to think because I think you guys had me on the show or Sean did. I've chatted with Sean a few times on his show and my show.
I was saying,
Rob, have we interacted at all? Or is it just me creeping you on Facebook? I can't remember. But anyway, the algorithm destroyed our relationship, whatever it was.
Now it's going to come back because you're talking about it. Facebook's going to be like, oh, they must
I pulled up his profile as we're talking to, so it's like it's going to just clue it in now.
Rob just texted me not too long ago and said, remember my Jill's office shirt? Because he and I have Jill's office shirts. Mine says I can drink more beer than Chuck Norris, and then his says he can drink more beer than me. Like he totally won up me.
That's a big one.
Yeah, he outdid me. He wins. I don't know how to outdo that. Chad Hupp said, do you guys do off-page SEO in-house or source it out to the Indians?
I love this question. Probably my favorite part of SEO is backlinking. I just did a webinar actually on it. You know, if you guys want, you can comment down below. It's like an hour of walking through all the different things that we do, but also that you can do. But we do it in-house. And basically we're helping people understand how they can use their network to get more links back from other websites. So like Dan, you know, all your clients can be linking back to you as their backlinking or as their bookkeeping service. Mm-hmm. You could leave reviews for them. They could leave reviews for you. And then you're going to link back to their website. Chambers of commerce, supporting charities locally, getting on all of your local directories, reaching out to all your friends and people you know. I'm getting a little nerdy here, Chad, but we do it in-house, and it's something I'm very passionate about doing because I think that everyone's going to say backlinks are dead or don't do anything. They definitely do, as witnessed by the Google leak. Like they actually have modifiers that they look at for that. But not not all backlinks are created equal. So if you can have them relative to your trade, relative to your location, or authoritative, like that's a big deal.
Well, and I feel like there's so many. I've seen so many is not the right word. I just feel like there's a lot of marketing companies that just do like backlinks, but they're just like garbage backlinks. They're just backlinks for the sake of backlinks, and I don't know if that's helpful at all. I don't know if it's mute or actually harmful.
It doesn't necessarily harm you. It can though, as best we can tell from the Google leak and their kind of algorithm for it. At best, it's just not going to do anything. But I was, creeping a client that left us about a year ago to do it with another agency. He had 2,800 backlinks built for him in the last 30 days.
Just layered.
I made a post about it. Just lay it on, and I was like, none of these are useful. I actually went through and kind of looked at them. None of them are useful. None of them are relevant. They're all just random sites that either were created for the sake of just saying that they were a backlink, because you can go out and create a free website with Weebly or Wix and then call that a backlink. So it's a nuanced art. I feel like, here's a nugget for you guys. Actually, one of my favorite is looking at your universities and government websites and finding the directories where they list home service or any business locally that offers discounts for government employees or alumni or students. If you can get listed on there, they're so powerful and so trusted, and they're local typically. So that can make a huge difference for you.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. I could see that big time.
And oftentimes it's just like, hey, email us here if you want to be added, if you want to offer a discount, and you can do like a 5% discount usually. You might not ever get traffic from it, but it's a really powerful digital signal. The
discount pays for itself in the real estate.
Yeah. I mean, a backlink, if you were to go and buy that on the backlink, buying and selling market, that'd be like a $500 to $1,000 backlink. for that power back.
Is it because of like the .gov or the .edu that it's just that much more trusted, or what makes it that much more valuable?
Yeah, they're typically more trusted by Google, and they typically have a lot of news articles linking back to them. I mean, .gov, they're everywhere, right? They're listed all over. The chambers of commerce are linking back to them. They're in news stories. Announcements are on there. They're just very embedded in their community.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is there some, like, looking at the entirety of a marketing portfolio? Oh, Ryan, I got to hit Ryan's comment here. Ryan says there's companies that will take thousands from you up front just to send bots to your website from Fiverr.
That's called click-through manipulation. Click-through rate manipulation. Yeah, CTR manipulation.
Just to give you some data to tell you it's totally worth it.
Well, it can fool like the SEO monitoring softwares and make it look like you're getting more traffic. So it makes your reports look really good at the end of the month.
Yeah.
But if you're not tracking how that relates to leads, you're in for a disappointment.
As I said, at the end of the day, like from a finance perspective's point, I'm only tracking new leads, new client, revenue, conversion rate, client acquisition cost, ROI, which most of those I'm like calculating after leads, clients, new client revenue. Yeah. The rest is just trying to figure out which activity is making the most movement on that, right? Like, what are we doing? How have you found, especially with like Google local service ads taking a bigger role, Google ads obviously being around for as long as it has now and being mature, I'll say, being established. Now they have the map pack. Like there's so many things. I talk specifically of Google because it seems like 99% of people that are going to buy something are going to go Google it. Even if they saw a Facebook ad, they're going to like go back and look at Google. How have you seen?
That's very true, by the way. People, if you're running ads, your website traffic will go up because people are Googling you.
Oh, so here's a prime example. We put up $100,000 worth of billboards in Minneapolis this year.
Wow.
We got 100 leads. We converted 47 of them. So our acquisition cost was about $2,000 a client, and our average job size was just below 500. Our Google leads went from 490 to 1,700.
Wow.
Like the awareness marketing is real. Now we didn't have the salespeople to handle 1,700 leads, and so our conversion rate sucked, and there were repercussions from not having the sales system to handle that much lead flow. We spent $100,000. We should have been a little more prepared for that. But it's amazing. Like it's so obvious.
That's a ballsy move. I like it.
Everybody goes to Google, right? Well, it makes sense for a billboard. We didn't put a QR code on. Like in Minnesota, you can't use your phone in your car or you'll get pulled over. Yeah. So I thought it'd be funny to put a QR code on. I told Andy, my partner at the time, I was like,
we'll pay your fine.
Yeah, we should slap a QR code on there just to be funny. But like people don't call and say, hey, I saw your billboard. They go Google it and they're like, oh, it's these guys, right? It's just in the back of their minds. Like, oh yeah, I saw that billboard.
What company niche was that for?
Window cleaning and pressure washing.
Very cool.
It's still like total acquisition cost. I'll say it was good, but it was still a loss. But it was a loss because we just couldn't convert them the way we needed to. But man, like the awareness marketing pulling back to Google is so strong. But now with so many different places for them to click, like when they clicked on the Google, like we still paid a ton of money. Like they either clicked our local service ad or one of our Google ads, right? Like how often do you see that they actually scroll down to the organic listing anymore versus shortcut and just click something on their way down? Like, are they patient enough to actually go click on an organic listing anymore?
Really great question. Don't sleep on Bing, guys. That's my first answer to the question, especially for home service. A lot of your clients typically are in the older demographic. They've got some money to their name. They've got older, facilities or whatever. Facilities being their houses. I don't know why I chose that word. But they typically need what we offer as home service companies. And so Bing is where they go because they just get a new laptop from Best Buy and they log in and Internet Explorer's, logged in. Bing is the default browser. They're just going to Bing. We track where leads are coming from, and Bing is like really popping up as one that's like, it's really surprising every time it happens. I'm like Bing, and then DuckDuckGo is like in there as well as like a lead source.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. So, but Bing, to get a little nerdy on you guys again here. So Google provides something called Google Search Console, which is basically a webmaster tool. You can verify your website. They're going to make sure it's indexed. Bing has the same thing. Bing also has Bing Places, which is like Google business listings. So that's a little side tangent there, but beyond Bing. But Google's getting crowded. One thing that I'm actually excited about, and most people are like terrified of, is the AI overviews, because you can actually feed those AI overviews information about your company, or format the information on your website in a way that the AI overviews are going to catch it. So lean into the technology, adapt. We all had to adapt from Yellow Pages. That was a bit before my time, but we all had to adapt from Yellow Pages and Better Business Bureau and getting websites and all of that. But it's just changing, and we'll adapt and go with the flow.
I had Debbie Sardone on last week. Actually, Sean came on the show with me, and we have a convention, a maid service convention coming up that Debbie runs, and she's been doing this for like I think this is year 8 or 9. Super successful convention. Justin, I am reading your nonsense. I literally Facebooked. I was half listening to Lewis because I took a picture of all your comments and sent it to you and said LOL. So yeah, I saw all your comments. I didn't get a chance to read it, and then I was thinking about Debbie's thing. But Justin, I'll now acknowledge your comments in a second here. I can get to them. But Sean and I had Debbie on, and she runs this really successful event, and she's like, "This is the last year we're doing it," and we're like, everybody's like, "What? This is like the best convention," and she's like, "Yeah," and it's at the top. Wow. Like, it is amazing, and therefore we're gonna do something different. She's like, "I don't want to wait to change until something starts going downhill. I'm always gonna change when we're at the top." And I was like, "That's just badass. That's a boss move to like take that approach." And it's true.
Ballsy, ballsy to move to the next thing. Yeah.
All right, Justin, buckle up. Here we go. I'm taking them in order. Justin,
some emoji
that I can't tell what it is, says, "Yo, what up, oh?" Says, "Dan, do you ever get tired of?" And then he left us with a cliffhanger. I don't know, Justin. You might have to clarify if you were saying, "Do you ever get tired?" or if these were meant to be one comment, but you.
Well, I think go to the next one. He's asking about Barry Little in the house.
Of Barry Little in the house. So I couldn't tell if he was saying Barry Little in the house or, Dan, do you ever get tired of Barry Little in the house? I don't know.
I have no context. Does that make sense? I don't know.
I never, just for what it's worth, I never get tired of Barry Little. That guy's hilarious. I love having Barry Little. He brings the energy. Justin says, "Best damn," all caps, "Dan Plata for president." Please no. Like, I hate politics. I never want to be president. What an awful job. What a ridiculously awful job. I don't want it. I want to do bookkeeping.
It's a very public facing job. That's for sure.
I'd be so miserable. Says, "I'm a Dan fan." It works because it rhymes. And if it rhymes, it works all the times, is what I say about that. Even though he can't catch any fish or kill any deer or do math, still better than Biden. I can do math if I have to. I'm just a little more dependent on the Excel spreadsheets these days. He says,
calculator.
He sent me all these messages.
I know. I saw it coming in, and I saw your attention being diverted, and I was like,
you could tell. Like, the first couple, I was still paying attention to you, but then he kept sending him, and I was like, now I'm getting distracted, and now I feel like I need to acknowledge him. So I privately acknowledged him, but now he kept sending him, so I felt like I had to publicly acknowledge him. This is where he started to get emotional. He's like, "Dan, are you reading my nonsense here, brother?" And then just to finish off, after we acknowledged, he said, "I feel better now. I can sleep now tonight." He's about to cry. He
keeps going, actually.
He's still
helping the algorithm.
I'm illiterate. Stupid autocorrect. Barry says, "Yo, man, up here in North Bama watching the podcast while my crew cleans gas stations, about to work off the laptop." And they said, he asked me the same thing when I'm not working at midnight. When I'm not out working at midnight. Do you ever get tired? Of course. When I stop drinking Coors Lights and stop talking to Lewis, I'll be tired right after that. So
Ryan's comment is underrated. Do you guys remember Encarta 97 where you plugged in an encyclopedia in the disk drive?
Oh my God. Yes.
Was that like, wasn't that crazy?
I haven't heard that in so long. I'm like going back to middle school, early high school.
When the computers were like this deep.
Dude, so deep. Just that big old box, big old white box. Ass deep. I remember 7th grade sitting in this was always weird to me. It was like we were in a shop class, but that was where they put our computer lab. So you just had these real high benches because they didn't know what to do with these damn things. They didn't have a computer room. And so we were like in this shop class, and that was where we all got internet time to use Ask Jeeves and Encarta 97.
So Ask Jeeves is actually, I didn't even know this, but I just looked it up. It's actually still a search engine.
What's the algorithm I like on that one? What's the marketing?
I don't know. I just pulled it up. I just pulled it up, and it was right there. But Ryan's apparently crushing it on there.
The guy goes hard at the offshoots because nobody else is there. The riches are in the niches, you know.
That's right. Yeah. Ryan's a cool dude.
I skipped Ryan and Chad Hupp here. I got to hit. I've learned that I get a lot of commercial leads from Bing and Microsoft. I'd like to get into the AI overviews as well. I've noticed they're popping up more and more. Interesting.
Chad, shoot me a message. I can send you some resources. We're also about to roll it out as a service. It's not a sales pitch, but we're going to be testing it on current clients. And then, in 6 months, I'll have more information to give you.
Heck yeah. Is there a way to get in the AI overviews? Is that
there is, yeah. So it's basically providing like an overwhelming amount of information in the right places.
Okay.
That's looking to, which has always been the case with Google anyway. It's just, strategically doing that with AI as well to train it.
Hell yeah. Gotta give a fist bump to Justin. He said, helping the algorithm, brother, just pumping it up. I like it. Play the game. Justin's
150
been
leads.
Birmingham. Were you guys both at the home show? Justin, I saw you and your babe were down at the home show just cranking it out. It said 150 leads. Crazy day of contacting folks.
It's a good day. That's why he's so high. I would be too. High on life.
Hell yeah. Barry said, I remember getting our first massive set of Britannica encyclopedias. People would sell them door to door.
We went.
Do you want to buy some knowledge? Do you care for buy some knowledge? We
went to Alyssa's family's reunion at the lake last summer, and her aunt and uncle brought over the encyclopedia set that they had bought for their kids like 40 years ago and gave them to our kids. Our kids love them. They're like sorting through them and they're like, oh, this is cool. What's that?
Well, especially
holding a gun.
It's a fun way to consume some content because you don't really know what you're going to get. Like you just flip over a page and you're like, what's this? I'm going to learn about this right now. It's like, I
used to sneak them back to my desk and like read them under my papers. Cause it's like, it's like it's like scrolling the news feed now. You never know what's coming next.
Yeah. It's like, instead of only getting what you searched for, you get all kinds of good stuff. It's like it's actually like the Facebook homepage. It's the original Facebook homepage. Like you didn't ask for any of this, but here you
just go to the bookshelf and grab a portion of the news feed and take it back to your desk.
Yeah. This is what's going on. But it's so relevant. This is what's been going on forever. Not just what's going on right now with people you don't actually care about. This is what's been going on this planet forever. So some dope home screen feeds. Lewis, what as you guys continue to develop, when is going to be the third time you start doing Google ads? Is it on are you going to do it again, or is it 2 and you're like, screw this, I'm never doing it again?
Google ads is getting really expensive now. I don't know if I will ever take Google ads on again. I think I've played that out. I don't think third time's the charm for me. I think I'll probably be heading down the route of like offering more services that complement the leads that we're bringing in already. So like, how can we help you with lead follow-up, like missed call text backs, that sort of thing that you can build out through Go High Level, review automation, stuff like that. I think that fits what we're doing better and has a better chance of like just monopolizing on what we already have.
Yeah. Do you see, everything comes and goes, right? There was a period of time when Angie's List and Home Advisor were the place to be, right? Mm-hmm. And they're just dead. They're gone.
I think that's AI overviews next. To be honest, that's kind of where we're going. SEO is still hot, it still works, and I guess I'm trying to pull a Debbie move here. Still do the thing, but continue to move so that we're kind of moving at least with the puck, maybe not ahead of the puck, but with the puck, and we're not trying to play catch up the whole time.
Yeah,
that was a hockey reference, by the way.
I like it. That's you got to play to your strengths. I
got to flex my Canadianism on you guys tonight.
That's right. Do you? This is an unfair question. Is it just Google or bust though? Like, there's Bing for sure, right? But what do you see on the forefront? Like YouTube ads are starting to get more and more popular, and video content. Are there other avenues you're seeing like that where you're like, you could see this thing taken off or that thing taken off as a reliable lead source?
I've always been a firm believer that whatever platform you go all in on and monitor and become better at can help you dominate. I know home service companies that just focus on TikTok or just on Instagram, or they're just reaching out to realtors. I chatted with a guy today. He's like, went on Instagram. I scraped all 3,000 realtors in my area, and I just harassed them on Instagram until they connected with me. And now I've got 300 realtors that keep, sending me jobs. Bing, Facebook, organic social, video content that you boost. There's so many ways. And I think if you get too pigeonholed as like Google's the way, you're probably missing out on some opportunity. That's what we offer as a service. But I really encourage people, like, get out and connect with some power partners. They're already, Frankie Finn he's an agency owner that works with lawyers. And he's got this analogy around, like, if you're going to sell shoes, most people think, let's go to the people that really need shoes, right? The homeless guy needs shoes. He really needs shoes. But he doesn't have shoes, and he might not be able to afford the shoes. But if you go to the guy that's, the sneakerheads that's got 500 shoes already, he's going to buy your shoes in a heartbeat. He wants another one for his connection.
Yeah, what's another pair?
Yeah, so if you can go to the shoe buyers, those are automatically your best, sources of leads. Or you can go to the people that serve the shoe buyers. So who are your power partners? So like in junk removal, furniture stores are excellent power partners because everybody has to get rid of their couch when they get a new one. And often the furniture stores don't want to do it. Estate lawyers, probate lawyers, all of these are power partners who can refer you over. Realtors are great if you get good ones. Realtors are kind of like home service, agnostic. They're going to help everybody because everybody who has a home needs, help at some point, right? But work on those power partners and really drill into them and serve them like super well. And you might dominate without ever doing anything on Google. Will Google help you dominate more? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Will Facebook help you? Will you got to keep going and keep, you got to keep being everywhere. I mean, the Google review debacle of a couple 3 weeks ago, when Google, the counter went wonky, that scared a lot of people. Maybe you should be getting.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, like it ain't bulletproof. This like the world still happens, and if something goes wrong and all my eggs are in that basket, I'm in trouble.
Are you just playing in one sandbox? Maybe you need to be collecting emails more religiously and then nurturing those people over text and email. Maybe you need to own your lead flows. So I'm certainly not a one hammer fits all the nails. Because there's a lot of things that aren't nails that you need to be tackling different ways.
Yeah. I dig it. What do we miss? I mean, we covered a lot of ground. I know it's going to be like pushing midnight for you here pretty soon. You're living in the future.
We're good. This is a good chat. Appreciate it.
Is there anything we missed tonight that you're like, oh, we got to make sure we talk about X, Y, or Z before we jump off here?
Backlinks is probably, it's funny Chad brought that up. Backlinks is probably one of my favorite things right now.
Chad, who's got PTSD.
PTSD. Making sure that you're like monopolizing all the people and just like going out and asking them for, hey, can I, write you a review? Like, go to your bookkeeper. If it's Dan, go to him and say, hey, can I write you a review or do a video review? He'll post it on his website and link back to you if you ask him. Come to me. Every client now, we do a little blog article on our website. Get on local podcasts. Connect with people in your community, provide value, and then ask for a little bit in return. I got a bunch here locally by just saying, hey, I know you as a business owner. I want a backlink, a link back from your site. How can I provide some value? One guy, he had like a graphic design website when we were starting our junk removal business. And he was doing like a ride for cancer. He's like, well, if you donate $50 to my, fundraising, I'll give you a backlink for sure. So get creative, donate to charities, do these things. Again, it's about being creative. It's not all about Google. That's where, we're working and where I'm working to develop systems for our team and for clients. But, drill in and it doesn't have to be complicated or cost you a ton of money. Just get organized and consistent and you can dominate pretty much anywhere.
I love the angle. And you mentioned it way earlier on the podcast. I don't know if we were 5 minutes in or 10 minutes in or what, but you had said like immediately, I forget what the reference even was. I'll have to go back and listen to it. Where you're like, oh yeah, and I just reached out and asked if I could add some value. Right? I didn't reach out and ask you if I could sell you some shit. I reached out to see if I can add some value. And like in return, just all of a sudden you're just out helping people. And once you start helping a bunch of people, they're like, oh, this is Lewis guy, super good dude. You should use him. As a matter of fact, I should use him. And like all of a sudden, you just go out of your way to help enough people, and it starts reciprocating, and that's always the best sales tool, is to not focus on sales. It just always cracks me up. I think the best sales tool is helping a bunch of people for free and setting good expectations. That's all you need to do. Yeah. Just go add value. Just go help people.
Yep. We're all in this ride together as business owners, and we want to help each other at our core. You know, 95% of people in your market want to help you. Don't worry about the other 5%. Just like connect with and add value to the other people, and you'll be fine.
That case in point, Chad Hupp right here. One day Chad messaged me. Chad's not a client of mine, but I feel like I know the guy. He messaged me and he's like, "Hey man, I watched your stuff. I've seen you. I'm in this bind, right? Here's where my business is at." He and I talked, I don't know, Chad, 45 minutes, an hour. I was like driving across town, the other way across town. I'm like, man, I'm a finance nerd. And if any business owner reaches out to me and is like, Dan, I want to talk about numbers and stuff with you, I'm just over here making Play-Doh snakes, man. I'm just like, this is the coolest. There's a guy that wants to talk about finance stuff with me. Like, and I get the same vibe from you. It's like, if you're my customer, cool. Like, I'd love, like, if that's a way I can add more value, but like, you don't have to be for me to be valuable. Like, I make this show to be valuable in an entertaining, businessy sort of way. I don't make any money off of doing this. It just cost me time and some frustration with my wife that she had kiddo duty tonight, and I'm not there to help because I'm here talking to Lewis, right? But like, it's the jam. Like, this is just such a fun way to add some value, and hopefully you guys are out there learning something and getting some free business entertainment out of the deal. But that's I just
goal. Chad just messaged me. Hey, Chad, I shot you a message back. We'll connect on my drive to the office or back, or we can schedule a call. But yeah, it's the more people you help, the more you will dominate. I read back in 2020, I was like commission breath Lewis, trying to make money in my agency, right? And I read the Go Giver by Bob Berg. Wow, I nearly lost that one. And it changed my life.
You grabbed her though. You just got her out of
I was like, it's going. I got it. But Bob Berg, like, he changed his life. It's like a little parable about this guy who was like freaking out because he was about to lose his job. It's been a while since I read it. Actually, it was back in 2020. So I'm getting old and I forget what happened 4 or 5 years ago. But right? he was doing this thing, and his mentor basically just like, try this. Try giving unrealistic amounts of value to the people around you. And then he just blew up and he dominated. And I was like, that's a lot easier than like trying to sell. Maybe I'll just try that.
Yeah, and trying to sell feels slimy. Nobody like
it takes a lot of energy too.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy, but like if you're jumping on a call with Chad, pumps you up. You feel really good. Like, we love helping people like try and avoid the mistakes we see people make all the time.
Yeah, hell yeah. I dig it. Lewis, I got one more question for you, and then I'll let you go to bed since it's almost tomorrow for you.
I love it.
If you weren't doing marketing and SEO, I'm just gonna rule out home services in general and marketing in general. You can't do home service stuff. You can't do marketing. But the world is your oyster, and I'll say money isn't really an object. It's got to be something that can make a living, but you can fake whatever living you want out of it. The answer is yours. The question's mine, but it's your answer. You woke up tomorrow and you had to go do anything else. What would you go do?
How fast do I need to make money?
I don't know. It's up to you. It's your money. It's your answer.
It's funny because when you ruled out home service, you saw my face. Like, I was kind of upset at you because I actually am going to start another service business here in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's why I ruled it out, because it's already something.
You knew that. You knew that's where I was going to go.
Yeah, I'm looking for that thing that's like this crazy ass itch that you would scratch if you were just like, if I had to start everything and this didn't even exist, if this world didn't exist, like nobody even had a house to serve, then what would you go? You were the only man in the world with a house.
That's a really, really good question. I don't know if I've had that conversation with myself, because I always play off my skills. It would be something helping people solve a problem, of course, because that's what business and life is about. It's an exchange of value. My first thought was sales of some sort.
Yeah, would you go back into like any engineering space? Like, were you passionate about it, or was it just
I loved learning. I absolutely love learning, but I'm not an engineer sort. I am too well. If you look at my Colby scores, for those of you that are into personality tests, I am very much a quick start, and I do not follow through. Engineers need a lot of follow through.
Just a bunch of like half put together buildings out there. Just
All of them.
like,
Yeah,
that was the stairs work. You can get up there.
yeah. I'll create the idea, and then I need a team to come behind me. That's not true. I probably would go into product design. Yeah, that's really digging up. I haven't thought about that for a while. I would go into product design of some sort. I've always wanted to invent something that solved a problem. I've got a few ideas. Or it would just be like cool knickknacks that would be something involved with machining or actual product manufacture and design wrapped up in that. Yeah.
Our boy Adam McChesney checking in. What's going on,
What's up,
Good
Adam?
to hear from you, man. Good to hear from you, dude. I gotta get Adam on the show. We were trying to do an episode last year at some point in time, but I don't think we ever got it done. So
I don't think it's a show waiting to happen.
Lewis, I have an idea for you, and I just don't have the engineering mind to make this happen, but I know it's going to be the coolest thing. And we're already talking about shoes tonight. And so you just take this one and run with it. I don't want any royalties. You can put me in the credits somewhere. I'm really looking for shoes that you don't have to wear. I want all the value of a shoe. I want the comfort. I want the ruggedness. I want the arch support. And I never want to have to put them on. Riddle me that. I want that. If you can solve that, like I'm feeling looking barefoot, but I could off-road any minute.
But you want the protection, right?
I want all the things that come along with a shoe without having to wear them. It'd be dope, dude.
I think all you got to do is just like go back to like not wearing shoes everywhere you go, in the snow and the cold and the rain.
I don't want to have to work for it. I'm a old millennial. I just want things to happen for me.
Yeah, I'll think on that. I had this great idea when I was just starting engineering of doing wireless Christmas lights. You can do how you can do wireless charging. It was just coming out back then. Yeah. I was like, I can put a ring around the bottom of a Christmas tree, kind of embedded in it, and then I'll just have bulbs hung on the tree. It'll be amazing. No wires. It'll be great. And I went on kind of seeing who had started. Like 2 days before, a Kickstarter had just started for this idea. And I was like, well, it was a good idea anyway.
Yeah. I think
something along those lines.
I think I thought of a breakfast cereal like that once, and then like the next week that breakfast cereal came out. Not quite as ingenious, but it was like
it's like the universe is like the Facebook algorithm. It just starts taking your ideas and running
shit out of your heads. I still haven't seen anybody come up with shoes that you don't have to wear, but Ryan did say
that's a thinker.
Skechers slip-ins, but sounds like you still got to slip your foot into them, which is
sounds like Crocs to me, to be honest.
I mean, everybody loves a Croc. Everybody loves a Croc except for those who are still resisting Crocs. Like there's a handful of people that are just like, no way, they're so stupid. And I'm like, clearly you haven't worn them. That's the only logical explanation for why you would still hate them.
Or you're not a dad who doesn't care anymore about what people think about you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like total socks and Crocs. Like that's the best. That's the best feel. Like I don't care what I look like. My wife
doesn't really matter what it.
And my wife's the one stuck looking at me. I don't really care beyond that. Like if she still puts up with me, I'm just gonna be as comfortable as possible.
You're good to go.
Crush that. Chad says, get a maid or a butler to put them on your feet. Yeah, but then you're wearing them. The whole point is you don't have to wear them. You just go wherever. I could go for a run right now, and in my mind I'd be like, the best pair of running shoes ever. And then I just immediately get the benefits of it without having to put them on. They wouldn't even be there, but I would just go run. And my feet would do things as if they were on.
I like it. Yeah, there's a lot of potential here, Dan.
Yeah, I'm talking like 25th century type of stuff. This is out there. This is going to happen. Shoes you don't have to wear. Barry said I sold about 200 pairs in 2021 on StockX. Put a down payment on my house. 200 pairs of shoes you don't have to wear? Where was I? I want one. I don't need to invent them. I just want a pair. Barry said, wait, he's a sneakerhead also? Let's not be mistaken. I don't even care about
the anti-sneakerhead.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of a sneakerhead. I don't even want to wear them. Chad said, geez, I remember when you could buy them at the gas station for $10. The shoes you don't have to wear. That was back in the day when they were just $10 at the gas station. Anybody could buy them. The hard part about buying shoes you don't have to wear is you can't actually see them. You just have to take the person's word for it that they're actually there.
No one appreciates them.
Yeah. It says Elon.
I think there's an Aesop's fable about that. Something to do with an emperor and no clothes.
Throwback. Well, Lewis, man, I appreciate you hanging out. Any how do people find you? How do people check out Blue Crocus and Lewis and the Marketing Without Rules podcast? Where do they get you?
Just pop out that CD from Encarta 97, pop it in, and we'll be there.
You'll be in there. Yeah, you're right on the front page of Encarta 97.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty active on Facebook. That's my most active social platform. If you message me on there, I'll get back to you, fairly quickly. LinkedIn, it's like a week wait to hear back from me. But yeah, look me up, Lewis Vandervalk, Blue Crocus Solutions, and you'll find what we're about and get in touch with us. Happy to help anybody. Chad already reached out, so yeah, anybody that wants to reach out. I like helping people more than anything, and some of them turn into clients, and that's cool.
Sweet, hell yeah, man. Well, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. Someday when you want to talk about bookkeeping on your Marketing Without Rules podcast, you just throw me a note. We'll get into whatever stuff you want to get into.
It'll happen. Yeah. I'm booked out a bit, but yeah, I'll probably shoot you one and you can book out about a month. We'll make it happen, man.
I'm all about it. Anytime. Business nerds, thanks for tuning into the bonus episode. I'm out the rest of the week. So no late night episode on Wednesdays as usual, but we're actually doing Home Service Happy Hour live at the Home Service Workshop, live, because we're going to be doing this, but we're going to be up on stage at a live event Thursday at 4:00 Eastern, 3 Central. So if you're not at the Home Service Workshop, you can tune in this way. If you're at the Home Service Workshop, you're just going to be in the room. You're going to be hanging out. We're doing trivia. We're doing show and tell. We're doing live business show and tell. We're doing what's hot, what's not. I might come up with another segment. It's a radio show. I can make up whatever segments I want. If you want to find out what segments I make up, just come to the show. Until then, you guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. Thanks, Lewis. That was a blast, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on and just chit-chatting. It was a good time.
Peace out, business nerds. Nighty-night.